everybody, CW here. A little bit of a different video. Let's repair this mold. I got this one recently on eBay, and it's a really nice 4-cavity Seiko, and it's a 7 millimeter mold. And what happened was, I did this to myself, but it's something that can happen, and it's something to be aware of. Not everybody has the right size handles for everything. Seikos can use a proprietary handle. The gap in here is a little bit different than Lyman on some of them, and it's loose for the RCBSs. Well, I put on a set of Lyman 4-cavity handles. I take that back. I didn't put them on. I bought it with the handles. It was supposedly a Seiko set of handles, but if you're familiar with the handles that are currently available, the Lymans look just like the RCBSs, look just like the Seikos. I believe they're all made by the same company, but the gaps are different on the molds, so the thicknesses of the mold handles, I probably should have brought a set down to show you what I'm talking about, but the portion that goes in here and then the pin goes through, the thickness of those are all different. So what happened was, because the handles were too small for the thickness here, you would think no big deal, they work, right? Well, they move around a lot. And because they move around a lot, what they did was they peened over the threads on the bolts that mount them. The earlier Seikos used a very long threaded screw, set screw. These are too short. They were about twice this long. And they would engage all these threads, come all the way through and stop on this. The hole does not extend through here into here. Can you see there? There's no hole up in there, but you can see the little bitty spot where this screw would have indented. So because of that extra movement of the handles when you're casting, it peened the threads. And then when I went to remove it, it wouldn't remove. And then because it was a soft screw, which is why the threads peened, the Allen part of it stripped. So now I'm stuck. So what I had to do was I had to actually screw it in as far as I could, cut the screw. I cut it on this side, so I cut it right up along this side over here. And that allowed me to remove the handles. Then I screwed it in just a little bit farther, cut it again, then cleaned up the thread as much as I could, and then I was able to extract it. I tried to extract it before I cut it the second time, and the threads were still just a little bit peened, so they wouldn't go through. So I sacrificed that screw to be able to keep a rather expensive mold fine. Now I got a couple of scars here just from handling it, because this is not steel, although they're called a steel mold. They're not that durable. You need to be a little bit careful with them. They can be dinged. If you drop them, they'll dent bad. And these are just handling marks. These little silver shiny marks. So you want to be careful and treat your molds carefully, because they are a fine instrument. You actually shouldn't ever keep them apart, because putting them together protects the inside. Keeping them together, I'm just trying to rub off that little mark that's on there. I'll have to clean that off. But keeping them together protects this delicate side, because if you get dings and dents along these edges of the bullet mold, your bullets aren't going to drop free and you're going to have problems. So, treat them carefully. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to fix this. Anybody who has the new Seikos knows they don't use screws like that any longer. What they use is a pin, a hard pin. I bought some stainless steel pins. This is what I got, and I got it from the Jungle Store. 316 stainless steel. It's not overly hard, but it'll work fine for what we're doing. I have 7 or 8 of them, 6 of them here. There's quite a few of them. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 6. Will probably last you the rest of your life. doing it for this. I believe these are 1/8 inch. I'm pretty sure I bought 1/8 inch. Pretty sure, but you can check that number. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this pin so that it's long enough to go in here all the way to the end like that. We're going to cut it off about here. So the pin's about that long. And then we're going to take one of these set screws and we're going to screw it on top to hold the pin in. That's what Seiko does now. And what that does is it allows all the wear and tear to fall on a smooth, hard rod, instead of the threads that can get peened and then you have trouble extracting them. So we're just going to upgrade this. I'm going to make one for each side, and I figured I'd take you along for the ride so you can see what we're going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to chase the threads, and I picked up a brand new one because my other one was not in great shape. I want to make sure I didn't, fudge up my, expensive die here. So as you can see, this is 1032 threads, and this is a standard die. A standard tap. Probably would have been better off with a bottoming just because of the space in here, but I think we can cut it all the way or clean them up all the way without any problem with this. So let me get you set up overhead and we'll do all that. I'm going to put you in speedy mode because we're already almost 7 minutes in, and I really want it to be a quick video. So I'm going to put you in speedy mode. Stand by. All right, I just dressed these two up on the grinder. Just took the burrs off, rounded off the ends just a tiny little bit, just so we don't have any issues with them. I made one for each side. Let's get out a set screw here because they might be a little bit long. I may need to use a shorter set screw. I think I have some shorter ones. I bought these just because they were cheap and it's good to have on hand. They were not expensive, but they're stainless, which was important. Let me grab a correct size wrench. Here's a correct size wrench. And chasing out those threads you saw was quick and easy. And I just did it because I was worried about that steel screw, fudging up these threads. Because, like I said, they call them steel molds, but they're not really steel, and they're kind of soft, so they can be easily hurt. Okay, so I'm okay. I wanted to make sure that our set screw was flush. And you see it's a little bit crooked. I probably could have gone a little bit bigger on this diameter, but it's going to serve the purpose because all of the tension from the handles is going to be on this, and this can tighten down against it, and it will be good. It shows the importance of fitting your handles to your mold. If the handles were fit to the mold, it probably wouldn't have screwed up those threads and everything would have been fine. So fit your handles properly to your mold. Okay, so we can change this to the other one. I can take the other screw out and put this one in the other side and we'll be all fixed. So there we go. There's the fix I did here on this very nice older mold, Seiko 281. And I saved it from having a problem or being scrapped. So there you go. Hope it helped out. Give you an idea of something you could do. That's about it. CW out.